Why do some countries rise while others collapse? Why do even democratic nations sometimes fail to provide for their people? The truth is uncomfortable. Democracy doesn't guarantee welfare. Prosperity isn't a reward you get for voting charismatic leaders. We can learn from both developed and developing nations that have found effective paths to progress. Here are 10 powerful principles behind successful welfare countries, and every citizen should understand them. They're lessons for developing nations, and reminders for developed ones to stay on course. Principle 1. Zero tolerance for corruption. Corruption is not just a moral failure. It's a slow poison for prosperity. It erodes trust, weakens institutions, and drains resources from schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Singapore made it clear early on, corruption would not be tolerated, not at any level. Strict laws, strong enforcement, and transparent systems helped turn it from a struggling port into a global financial hub. If you want growth and welfare, you need to kill corruption. Fast. Principle 2. Leadership based on competence, not popularity. Nations are not built by the loudest voices, but by the most capable hands. This is challenging in democracies where weak institutions allow short-term populism to thrive, and even worse in dictatorships ruled by selfish elites. Singapore developed a disciplined, educated leadership pipeline. Rwanda prioritized performance-based governance and nationwide accountability, though its approach has sparked debate about democratic freedoms. When leaders are chosen for their skill, ethics, and results, not just charisma, progress follows. Principle 3. Invest in people. Education is national strategy. When people grow, the nation grows. Education isn't just a service, it's a national strategy. Finland and South Korea built high-quality, inclusive education systems focused on the future. Taiwan moved from a low-wage economy to a tech powerhouse by investing in science and engineering. Singapore adapts its curriculum to future job markets. Rwanda, one of the world's youngest nations, is prioritizing tech education and literacy. Human capital is the most valuable asset a nation has. Principle 4. Build a smart safety net. Successful nations don't leave people behind. They ensure access to basic health care, food, education, and shelter, not as charity, but as tools for productivity and stability. A strong safety net prevents crises, keeps people motivated, and helps them contribute to society. Botswana and South Korea have shown that strategic resource allocation can protect citizens effectively, even with limited means in Botswana's case. It's not about spending more. It's about using national wealth wisely and fairly. Principle 5. Smart government. Avoid overregulation and diversify the economy. The government's job is not to control everything, but to create the right conditions for growth. That means clear laws, efficient institutions, and minimal bureaucracy. At the same time, nations must diversify to survive global shocks. Singapore showed how open markets, good governance, and long-term planning can lift a country. Botswana and Norway are examples of resource-rich countries that used long-term strategies to avoid corruption, though Botswana still faces challenges in diversifying its economy. As scholars like Noam Chomsky have argued, poor management, not a lack of resources, often explains a country's struggles. Principle 6. Invest in infrastructure that builds the future. Prosperous nations build for tomorrow, not just today. Roads, railways, ports, internet power, and clean water, these are the veins of economic and human potential. South Korea's growth was built on infrastructure and innovation. Poland massively improved its infrastructure to catch up with Western Europe after decades of stagnation. Singapore even built its own defense infrastructure to guarantee independence and stability. Strong infrastructure makes strong nations. Principle 7. Encourage innovation and local value creation. Copying others isn't enough. Nations grow by creating value, not just importing it. Taiwan became a global tech leader by investing in local R&D, not just manufacturing for others. South Korea focused on local innovation in industries like semiconductors, energy, and culture. Many resource-rich or strategically located countries have failed to build on their natural advantages because they didn't invest in innovation. Principle 8. Create a fair and transparent tax system. No country can develop without funding its future, but citizens won't support a system they see as corrupt or unfair. Successful nations build simple, transparent tax systems, where everyone contributes and sees tangible results. Singapore and Estonia show that it's possible to combine trust, fairness, and efficiency in taxation. Principle 9. Strong institutions, independent from politics. Progress falters when institutions lack independence, and rules shift unpredictably with elections. That's why successful nations build apolitical, professional institutions, like courts, civil services, central banks, and audit offices. These protect stability, defend rights, and resist corruption, no matter who's in power. South Korea strengthened its institutions to rebuild trust after authoritarian rule, while Rwanda's institutional reforms, though effective, have raised questions about political freedoms. Principle 10. Shared vision and national unity. A future people can build together. A nation is more than GDP or borders. It's a shared story, a collective mission. Without a vision, politics becomes short-term noise. Without unity, even the best plans fail. Without direction, a country just drifts. Botswana used diamond wealth to build public services, not just enrich elites. Poland, after decades of division, unified its people through infrastructure, EU integration, and institutional reform. Finland rebuilt after war through a shared belief in education, equality, and trust. Institutional reform. People must feel they're part of something bigger, and that building a better future is their role, not just their leaders. So the next time you vote or support someone in power, ask yourself this: are they building a future or just selling stories while the foundations crack? Do they serve the people or just their party, their donors, their pride? Because no nation is too strong to fail, and no society survives without purpose, trust, and constant work. You might think your country can't afford these things, but even the poorest nations can start building toward long-term prosperity. Welfare isn't a gift. It's not guaranteed by democracy. It's a system, and if you don't build it, you may lose it. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay grounded,